Hello, I'm John Hummel, Senior Technical Writer for Altinity. In another video, I demonstrated how to install Grafana in the ClickHouse plugins. This time, I'm creating a ClickHouse Grafana dashboard tutorial covering how to connect your new Grafana server to a ClickHouse database and create some very cool charts from sample data provided by an Altinity.Cloud ClickHouse cluster. A copy of all these instructions are available on the Altinity documentation site, where you can copy and paste your way to victory over configurations and ClickHouse SQL queries from your Grafana server. Maybe you're someone who wants to be updated on the latest ClickHouse news, or get onto the ClickHouse training train from the Altinity resources site. Or you can keep checking out our amazing new videos by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. If it works for you, let's not break it. Let's get right to the focus of this video: how to connect Grafana to ClickHouse and use that data to create new dashboards and panels. For our example, I'm going to be using a ClickHouse cluster hosted on Altinity.Cloud. This is a publicly available ClickHouse database that you can use to play around with ClickHouse, experiment with how to connect it to Grafana or Superset or MinIO or other systems, and just get a handle on how ClickHouse works. Create data source. Before we can get into our Grafana dashboard tutorial with ClickHouse data, we have to tell our Grafana server how to connect to ClickHouse. To do that, we create a Grafana data source. This is just a configuration setting that specifies the server, authentication credentials, and so on. Start by logging into Grafana, and from the left navigation menu, select Settings, Data Sources, then select Add Data Source. You should see a list of potential connection types. Naturally, we want ClickHouse. Make sure that you followed our previous video on how to install Grafana with the ClickHouse plugins. Otherwise, you're not going to see this. You can see from the menu here all the settings. I won't go over all of them, but here's the important ones to know. Name. This is your name for the data source. Make it whatever you like. You can make it something simple, like the name of the ClickHouse server, or something more interesting, like Kitten Cuddles. URL. The host or IP address of the server. This is either going to be a HTTP or HTTPS connection to the ClickHouse server. If HTTP, make sure you include the port 8123 at the end. If HTTPS, then 8443. Basic auth. If you have to log into your ClickHouse server, then set this and with credentials to be true. Basic auth details. If you have credentials to present to your ClickHouse server, this is where you put them. For all the other settings, please see the ClickHouse Grafana plugin page. A link will be provided in the description notes below. For our sample Altinity.Cloud ClickHouse database, we'll use the following settings. URL is HTTPS github.demo.trial.altinity.cloud 8443. Basic auth and with credentials are both enabled. Basic auth details, the username and the password is demo. Use post method to send queries, enabled. And let's give it a name. I was really sold on Kitten Cuddles, but to prevent confusion, I'll name this Altinity.Cloud demo. Now we just have to test it by selecting Save and Test. If everything is set up like here and there's no network issues, you'll get a positive confirmation. That's it. Your Grafana data source to ClickHouse is ready to roll. Now let's make some dashboards and Grafana panels. The first dashboard. Of all the steps you're about to see, this might be the shortest. Grafana uses dashboards, and each dashboard can have one or more panels. Basically, a Grafana panel is a chart or other visualization that uses data from your data source or some expression. Each of these panels will be fairly simple. I'm a technical writer, and I leave the hard thinking up to the real smart people. Probably you, if you're an engineer reading this. To create a Grafana dashboard, from the left navigation panel, select Plus, then Dashboard. Select the save icon, then give your dashboard a name. Feel like a winner! You've done it! This is your first Grafana dashboard! Big Stat Panel. Are you done celebrating? Great. Let's actually fill up that dashboard. Select your dashboard from the navigation panel. Now select Add Panel and Add Empty Panel. Our first Grafana panel is a Stat panel. It's just called Stat, but I like to call it Big Stat because all we're going to do is generate one big number. Our sample Altinity.Cloud ClickHouse database contains a few useful tables. We're going to focus mostly on the table called On Time, which is a collection of airplane flight data for the United States. This is a huge table containing gigabytes of information, so getting useful analytical information quickly would be a challenge if we weren't using ClickHouse. For our big stat panel, we're going to have ClickHouse count all of the unique carrier names in our on-time table. Here's how you do it. Start by selecting the visualization in the upper right-hand corner and selecting Stat. Right now, it's letting us know in some very big type that there's no data. That's not an issue. We're going to give it some. Now, let's select our data source. We're using our new ClickHouse connection, so select that. Now we connect our query field. We can give the query field a name like Total Unique Carriers. If your connection is working, then when you select your database and table, those will be available as dropdowns. This isn't a necessary step, but you see something cool in a minute. Now let's specify our SQL query to the ClickHouse server integrated with Grafana. Our query is really simple, and you'll see it on your screen. Select Count Distinct Carrier from $table. Here's something to notice. First, we're doing count distinct on the column carrier. Since ClickHouse is column-based, this is going to find the unique carrier names very quickly. Secondly, notice our SQL query that we're not specifying the table on time. We're using a Grafana variable. When we set the database in the table, we can just use the variables in place of the table or other Grafana settings. This way, if we need to make a change, we do it with a few clicks rather than updating the SQL query. And third, there's no semicolon at the end of the SQL query, like you'd be used to seeing. Don't do that. It'll make Grafana mad. It doesn't handle multiple queries in a command, and the semicolon makes it think you're trying to trick it. One last thing. We set the format to table. In a later panel, we use time series, but for now, table is what we need. That's it. Save your panel and give it a name like Total Unique Carriers, and now you can see the results. Time series panel. That last panel was pretty simple. Let's up the stakes a little bit and create a time series chart, something that can show us performance over regular intervals. We'll be using the same data source as in the big stat, but there will be some extra steps. We start the same way as before. We select the dashboard we want to use, add a panel, and it's an empty panel. This time, we make sure our visualization is set to time series and once again set our data source, database, and table. Now is where the fun begins. This time, go into the query options. Since we're using a time series chart, we need to set the time intervals. Start with setting the relative time to 1 month, 1M. This accumulates 1 calendar month worth of data at a time. Then, set the time shift to 24M, 24 months. This is going to grab the last 24 months of information from the table on time. Now for our query. For this one, we're once again using variables, this time of time series, time filter, and table to configure Grafana. This lets us adapt the query settings to automatically adjust our chart without having to meddle with the query itself all the time. And the query we're using? It's on your screen. I'm not going to read that whole thing. It's not that long, but a copy of this is in the Altinity documentation site. What are we doing with this? We're setting our time intervals as the time series, the carriers, and counting the flights within the time filter. If you recall, our time series is 1 month, and the time filter is 24 months. Then we group it by time and carrier and order it by the same. We'll jump back into our query settings. Since this is a time series chart, we need to tell Grafana which fields we are going to use to measure the intervals. The first part is set the column date time, letting Grafana know we're using a date time field. Next, we use a function to convert the data from the column flight date into a date time format. And our third setting is just column date to let Grafana know where the date information is coming from. Give your query and your panel a name, like Total Flights by Carriers, and save it. And there's our amazing time series chart. If you want, you can go in and make adjustments for the amount of time to measure, the intervals, have some fun with it. Or we can get to the really, really fun panel example. Worldmap Panel. This panel is a lot of fun. It starts with the Worldmap Panel, which is a plugin showing a map of the planet Earth. You might have heard of it. It has the best water slides in the solar system. Because this is an optional plugin, you might not have it available on your Grafana server yet. If you're the system admin of that Grafana server, then you can install the Worldmap Panel with the following commands, which installs the Worldmap Panel and resets the Grafana server. Sudo Grafana-CLI plugins install Grafana Worldmap Panel. Then sudo system control restart Grafana server. If you want more information on this plugin, see the Grafana installation instructions on the Altinity doc site. I have a link to the original plugin there for you. Once it's installed and Grafana is reset, here's how we do it. We start by going to our Grafana dashboard like we have shown before and adding a new empty panel. Then, we set the visualization to Worldmap Panel and make the following settings. Title: Cancellations by Airport. This will become clear in a moment. Center: North America. Initial zoom: 4, 3 or 5, 4, somewhere in there. Min circle size: 1. Max circle size: 10. Location data: table. Aggregation: total. Table query format: coordinates. Location name field: origin. Table query format: coordinates. Metric field: canceled. Latitude field: origin_latitude. And longitude field: origin_longitude. Thresholds: 10,000, 50,000. Colors: set to green, orange, and red. Now, let's set up our data source. Make sure it's the ClickHouse data source, or else why have you come all this way? Set the name of the query to flight origins and destinations, and use the query you see on your screen. It's also on the Altinity doc site. Set the format to table and save it as canceled flights by airport. So what does this do? It shows the top 100 airports in order of the most canceled, and the ones with the highest cancellations are in red. You can change this to highlight which airports had the highest delayed flights from the origin or other tweaks. I hope you've enjoyed this look at using Grafana and ClickHouse for your business intelligence, the buy, to create dashboards based on your ClickHouse data. If you want these instructions in text form so you can copy and paste the commands, check out the Altinity documentation site. It's like this video guide, only without a look at my super cute Triceratops that sits at my desk and eats engineers who don't properly document their code. You know who you are. Don't forget, if you want to check out more videos in our Business Intelligence in ClickHouse series, subscribe and click the notification bell. If you're more interested in training or updates about our ClickHouse cloud service Altinity.Cloud, visit the Altinity resources page. I'm John Hummel, Senior Technical Writer for Altinity. I hope you can take these lessons on configuring your Grafana server with ClickHouse to create some amazing dashboards. Show off your information to the ends of the world. Well, if there was an end to the world because it's a globe. But that just means the end will be right back where you started, and that's okay. Until next time, happy coding.